Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to teach you how to make one of these adorable knitted pumpkins for fall. Stick around and I'll show you what supplies we'll need. For this project today, you're going to need a size 13 knitting needles, either interchangeable or straight since this project is made flat, a darning needle. You'll also need some scissors, some bulky size 6 weight yarn, and about 2 handfuls of polyfill. Right now Hobby Lobby has their polyfill for only $2.99 a bag, so run out and take advantage of that price. You're also going to need some random fall decorations. I have some fall leaves, some natural wood sticks, which I found in the Christmas section, and E600 glue, all from Hobby Lobby. Then there's a fall leaf bouquet that I found at Walmart, as well as some twine for the sticks when we're finished. So once you have all of your supplies, come on back and we'll get started. And now we need to grab our needles and our yarn. We're going to start with a slip knot. For those that are new to knitting, this counts as the first stitch. Then to add on the stitches that we need, we're going to be using the knitted cast on. I'll also slow it down so that you can see the process better while I explain. So now, as if to knit, you're going to go ahead and put your needle through, and you're going to pull up what would look like a knit stitch. Take your non-working needle and go up under that loop. Put your needle through and then leave that loop on that needle. That's your second stitch, and we're going to keep doing that. So as if to knit, put your working needle through the loop, go around the back as if you're knitting, pull up what would look like a knit stitch, and then we are going to make a very long loop here again so that you can use your non-working needle to go up underneath that new stitch and then pull it off. As you see, we're just going to leave it lay right on top of that needle, and then we're going to keep doing that. Let's do this together again. As if to knit, create what looks like a knit stitch, and then once you have that through, you're going to pull that yarn through, make a loop, use the non-working needle to go underneath that loop and pop that stitch right on that needle, and that's going to be it. And now we're going to make 12 of these stitches, and then when you make 12 stitches we will come back and work on this project together. Okay, now we've got all 12 of our stitches, and we're going to knit all the way across the row. So go ahead and get your yarn and make your first knit stitch, and that knit stitch sits on the working needle, as will all the rest of them. And just keep knitting across until you get to the end, and then I'll show you what to do next. Okay, so now that we're at the end of the row, we're going to turn our work and we're going to work back the other direction, and we're going to continue with our knit stitches. We don't need to use any other stitches at all. So this is perfect for beginners. Just go ahead and start making your knit stitches across, and you're going to do this every single row for about 20 rows. And when you're finished with your panel that you're going to make, I will meet you back here and then we will put our pumpkin together. Okay, and here is my finished panel. I have exactly 20 rows. And now we are going to go into the cast off. The cast off consists of only knit stitches for this project. If you've never done a cast off before, you're going to take your working needle through the loop and pull off a knit stitch. And then you're going to make another knit stitch and rest it on that working needle as well. And then when you have those two together, you're going to take this and pull it over this. So you've got to go through that, pick up that back loop and pull it up over the top of the other one, being very, very careful not to lose your stitch, and then pull that stitch up and lay it on your needle. And now we're going to make another knit stitch, and then we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to pull the back loop up over the top of the other loop very slowly. Take your time to get it done. There's no rush. And then pull that needle through, pop that stitch on there, and we're just going to keep on doing this. This is all we're doing. Knit one stitch and then grab that back stitch and pull it over the other stitch. And this is literally all there is to it. So let's do this cast off together. Make one knit stitch, pull the back loop up over the first loop very carefully, very slowly. You're going to need good tension for this, so if you suffer with tension, then that's something that I would recommend that you guys really work on. So make your next knit stitch. You have two loops. Pull that back loop up over the first loop and off. Make another knit stitch. Pull the back loop over the front loop and off. Make a knit stitch. Pull the back loop over the front loop slowly but surely and off the needle. Make a knit stitch. Pull that back loop over the front loop and off. Make a knit stitch. Get the back loop, pull it over the front loop and off. Make a knit stitch. You have two loops. Grab the back loop and pull it over the front loop and off. And the last stitch, make a knit stitch. Grab that yarn and pull it off. There we go, all done. And now grab your scissors and we're going to go ahead and snip off a pretty nice long piece. We want at least 15 inches. And then we're going to start putting our pumpkin together. Now you can go ahead and take your knitting needle out. We're going to pull that loop up and we're going to take the yarn that we just cut and we're going to pull it through. So go ahead and grab it. Use your fingers on the other hand, pull it through, and basically all we have to do is just pull it tight and that's it. We don't even have to give it a knot. It's exactly the way it's going to be. And it's nice and stretchy, and so now we're going to go ahead and take our sides and fold it over. And now I'm going to go ahead and take these two ends together and going to tie them together, which will help to keep the sides from coming apart. And I like to do this before I start to sew it up. So go ahead and tie it down and make sure it's nice and secure. Grab your darning needle and we're going to go ahead and thread it. I hope you have a nice big eye on your needle because yarn this size needs a larger needle, so keep that in mind. So now that we've got it threaded, we're going to go ahead and start working a whip stitch. It doesn't have to be perfect because no one's going to see it. So just go ahead and go up under either side. I'm kind of just going back and forth. I'm not really picking up stitches on both sides at the same time. I'm just kind of doing kind of like a shoelace tie up. So you tie it up however, or I should say sew it up however you feel more comfortable. If you have a way that you like to do it, go ahead. If you know a technique that will make it look like there's no seam at all, go ahead and do that. You can do a mattress stitch if you want. Either way, this pumpkin's going to be absolutely adorable. Okay, now that we have the entire side sewn up, we're going to go ahead and weave up the top. So with your darning needle, you're going to go ahead and pick up the loops that you see at the very top of the project. Pull the needle through and go back and get some more loops. And you're just going to keep doing this all the way across until you get the entire top weaved up. Okay, then once we have the entire top seamed up, we're going to go ahead and cinch it closed and grab a couple of little loops here, and we're going to create a knot so that this does not come out. Then we're going to grab our scissors and cut that piece off. Notice I have a little bit left at the top. And then we're going to take our work and pull it right side out. Now we're going to get ready for the stuffing. Now grab a couple of handfuls of polyfill, and you kind of want to pick it up, break it apart, and once you get it broken apart like that, you're going to start putting it down inside of the pumpkin. And then just press it down in there. Now what I like to do is use my fingers and push out around the polyfill and just make it stretch the pumpkin more. And then add the rest of your polyfill, and then when you get finished with that, we're going to sew up the top. Okay, so go ahead and grab your already threaded needle, and we're going to start picking up just a few of these loops here and start weaving up. Don't pull your tail too hard or you'll pull it out. Just keep going around until you have the entire top weaved up. And this should be a very simple, quick process for you. And then once you get all the way to the other side where you started, you're going to go ahead and grab that piece of yarn over here, and you're going to take the yarns together, push down some stragglers, And that extra piece of yarn, go ahead and do as I'm doing here and tie this top up. And you're going to make a knot, so now it's not going to come out. And now we take the tail that we have on our needle through the middle where we just made our knot, and we'll push this needle through to the other weaved side and pull it through. Just like that. We want to give it a good tug to create an indent like you would see in the bottom or the top of a pumpkin. And then we need to take this same yarn and push it back through to the other side, pulling it again to create an indent on this side as well. And then once you're done, you're going to take both of these strands of yarn and we are going to tie it down. Tie it pretty tightly, make sure the indents are still there, but you don't want to break your yarn, so be very careful. And then when you get finished with that, you're going to take the yarn that's still on the needle and you're going to push the needle through into some random spot on the side of the pumpkin, push it through, and then you're going to go ahead and cut that off. You're going to do the same with the leftover piece of yarn in the center as well. And that way you can hide your strands, you don't have to sew them in, and they get stuck in the polyfill so you won't ever see it or even know that it's there. And now we're going to get ready to decorate. So go ahead and grab all of your decorating supplies. I have my really pretty red and yellow leaves here. I have my E6000 bonding agent that I'm going to use. This stuff doesn't dry very fast, so just make sure that if you're using it, press down the leaves because you're going to need to really adhere it to the yarn. So that's something that I noticed. So here I'm picking up one of my natural sticks that I got in the Christmas section at Hobby Lobby, and I'm just putting this glue all over it on the one end, and then I'm going to go ahead and put it right into the center. It doesn't matter which side of the pumpkin you put it on. I just chose a side that looked good, and then I'm just going to get ready to put some of this E6000 on the back of one of these leaves as well. And first, before I do that though, I wanted to cut these leaves down a little bit. They're very large and they look very unnatural with the pumpkins, so you can see it's a little bit big. So I wanted to cut it down and kind of shape it a little bit and give it a look that might look a little bit more natural on a pumpkin, even though maple leaves are not pumpkin leaves, so it is a little more of an imagination thing. But I'm going to go ahead and cut these down, both of them, and just start making sure that they're the right size, and we'll go from there. Now that I have my leaves on, I'm just going to finish off this pumpkin with a piece of twine. As you can see, I just sort of wrapped it around the stick there, just tying it on. And you push it down to make sure that it's more toward the indent of the pumpkin. That way it doesn't fall off. You can also glue it on if you want to. If you don't want to use twine, you can actually use ribbon. I've seen some pumpkins with ribbons on them. They're very pretty. But in any case, here you go. This is the pumpkin all finished, and I think that it's adorable. Anyway, you guys, I hope that you enjoy this video today and that you've made this pumpkin with me and that you make a whole bunch more and decorate them the way that you want to and give them away for fall or for gifts during the fall season. But in any case, I hope that you've enjoyed this project today and that you make a bunch. You guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video.